everybody. Welcome to another Coffee Lounge Talk. So today's verse is 1 Corinthians 12:12. So if you have not watched the last week's video, be sure to watch it. That was Romans 12:12, and it had some real good significance, and you might also able to relate it with your life story. So feel free to watch it when you have time. So today's is 1 Corinthians 12:12. I'm going to be reading the World English Bible Version, and then I'm going to share my story, and then I encourage all of you guys to share your stories in the comment, because you never know who is going to be inspired with your story. Okay, so here is the verse. For as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. So the idea is, and again, I don't pretend to be an expert in any of this. You guys know I'm learning. I'm a new Christian. I became Christian 12/12 of 2024. So actually this December it'll be 2 years. But anyway, I won't cover too much details around those things here, because you know that I've covered in many different videos. So this one is about, I made another video, like I was saying last week, about 12/12, because it has some huge significance other than just me becoming Christian on that day. And as I'm filming this video this morning, I saw it on the license plate as I was going to my daughter's open house at school. She's going to 5th grade. So the story here is, today's story is, so I was Hindu all my life. I followed Buddhism for, I would say, 3 to 6 months after everything fell apart in November of 2023. I lost my job suddenly, lost marriage. And if you guys know my style, you know I am like a vertical person, then a horizontal. What I mean by this, whatever I learn, I go deep. I don't learn surface level. So as I learned a lot of things in Buddhism, I read a lot of books and listened to many videos. And I'm not kidding with you guys, like 16 hours of Buddhism listening that I did. I mean, it's not about just talking about it. It was because my mind was in such a place that if you think, if anybody's heart could be broken into millions of pieces, maybe it was more. I don't know. Anyway, so that is why I had to get my mind in a place that I could survive. Which you guys know, in the early days in the channel, I used to say that this is really this channel did not start as like a regular YouTube channel. It started as a survival guide, as a daily journal. So in Buddhism, there's a concept of interbeing. The word is called interbeing, from Thich Nhat Hanh. I read a lot of his books, and Thich Nhat Hanh was, he died in 2022 at 95 years of age. He was second to Dalai Lama in Buddhism, and he is known as the father of mindfulness. The person named Jon Kabat-Zinn worked with Thich Nhat Hanh and actually created the mindfulness courses in Harvard and many other colleges, universities here in the United States. So anyway, his concept was that, which is the Buddhism concept, that we are all interconnected, all 8 billion human family. And in Buddhism, it's also the concept of, like, the, you know, the tree is a tree, you know, it's outdoors over there. I can see the light. The trees, the rock, and everything is all interconnected. And some of it, like, you know, if you think of it, like even when it rains, you know, we see the water, and then it evaporates, right? And then it becomes cloud. So all of these are like very connected. And in Christianity, the way, you know, we look at things as like the Holy Spirit, right? So God, there's a little part of God in all of us, right? So from that concept, the 8 billion human family, we are all connected. We are not an isolated person. And that is the thing. A lot of people, like, I talk to so many people, not only about just folks who are separated or divorced, they feel that loneliness, right? And I think it's that Trust me, like, I'll be authentic. Sometimes I do too. But how I found to enjoy the solitude is in God's presence, like listening to God's music, listening to God's reading Bible over there. A friend of mine actually gave it. If you're seeing it, friend, hi and thank you. Also, I read lots of books over there. You guys don't see the books, but anyways, the things I need to still sort out. Otherwise, I'll show you guys. I have 2 bookshelves, which I haven't had the time to put together. They're 3 months old. Anyway, that's life right now. I share with you guys the real stories, right? So the idea is that, and that's why in this Sunday morning when I talk about in this coffee lounge, I want you guys to look at, there is so much to learn from the stories of the Bible, because there are 66 stories and each story has many chapters. And if I grew up in India, I grew up in India, and half of my life I lived there, and I'm living here now, and all my life pretty much I grew up Hindu. So if I can connect with those stories, you guys would be able to connect with that too. And keep an open mind, because you will see the connections, how different religion is. It's all talking about peace and finding, like, a lot of time in midlife, like, people do the soul searching, who am I, and all of that. And sometimes you may have to go beyond what you always knew to find out who you are. Like, my dad was, we're all Hindu in our family, and my dad was very religious, actually. And every Sunday in the evenings, he used to go to the temple and read Gita, and people would sit. Gita is like Bible for Hindus. So people would sit in front of him. He would have a little higher ground where he would sit and read the Gita in a microphone, and people would sit out there and listen to, and my dad would read and explain. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of it because he died when I was 6 years old. It was a natural death, but I know that definitely left a mark in my mind. But it's interesting that now on Sundays I make these videos where I talk about religion in a different perspective, with my own perspective, I guess, right? Because everybody has their own perspective. And this is a path you guys all know I didn't really choose, but the way it all happened, I'm like, it's definitely God's calling. And of course, this channel and the company Midlife Reinvention is not necessarily faith-based, but faith is a part of it for people who are willing to explore it, right? So in my own journey, faith played a big role in my everyday peace and enjoying solitude, finding joy in the journey. So again, going with that 8 billion human family, I'm going to share something with you guys. So yesterday I was chatting with a friend, and these are the things these days, like, with this deep thinking that you can do. If your life is an autopilot and you are always going, you won't be able to do this deep thinking. And that is where sometimes loneliness is actually good. The solitude is good, because then you can get under those layers. Because when we think, there are layers and layers of things, and unless we are spending enough time with ourselves, we don't get down to those layers. There could be hundreds of layers, right? And when you go down deep, then you see things differently. So anyway, I was telling her, like, how, so I'm going to show you guys this thing, which I'll make a different video about it. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. So I have some mosquito bites. Do you guys see it? Yeah. I don't know. I'm showing mosquito bites in the video. So this happened. There's a story behind it. That's what I'm showing you guys. Last Thursday, so last entire week, from August 3rd to August 10th, I was in Florida resort. It's a kids resort. I mean kids and adult. So my daughter and I, she had lots of fun. There was lots of different things. And there was one pool. They had like different lighting, whatnot. So she wanted to swim at nighttime, because it'll be a different experience to swim in a pool at nighttime where they have different color lights and palm trees and whatnot. So I decided to go there, and she said she wants to be there at least 1 hour. I said, okay, I'm okay with 1 hour, but no longer. So 9 to 10, because during the day we did a bunch of different things, and then in the evening we rested a little bit, and then from 9 to 10 we go there. And so she went down, and a lot of other kids are playing in the pool, and I was sitting in a one of those, you know, the chairs, the beach chairs next to the pool, and that area was a bit dark. The light was not hitting there, but I started getting this mosquito bites. My goodness, it was like, I can't tell you guys, it's like 15 in each arm. So 30 in 2 arms together, and more in the legs. So I had like, and it's still itching. It's been last Thursday. Oh my God. And today is Thursday. So it's like a week. Anyway, no, actually it was not Thursday. I think it was Friday night. But anyway, so after I came back and I kept looking at the mosquito bites, or maybe the next day, I was like, you know, the thought that came to my mind that the mosquito bites are unconditional love. Yes, you heard me right. The mosquito bites are unconditional love. And that the thought just blew my own mind. And I'll tell you why. Because so yesterday I saw this post, and all of these are like, you know, like going layer by layer in your own mind, and that all of this will happen when you spend enough time with yourself. Because it didn't happen overnight, because I've been practicing this for 3 years, so I know, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It's like the finding positive in everything, and it becomes your second nature, right? Like the inner coach and the inner critic. The inner critic becomes like a servant of the inner coach, right? So everything, like your subconscious normally is negative, but you can make your subconscious positive. So I'll tell you this. So the post yesterday was, your first thought is not, it was on LinkedIn, your first thought is not yours. You're not responsible for that. But your second thought is what you have to practice towards, right? Because something will happen. Let's say the weather changes, and you're like, oh, okay, all of a sudden it became cloudy. But what is your reaction towards the cloud, right? The one reaction could be, oh my God, I really would have wanted, you know, the sunny day. The other thought could be, oh, now from the cloud it could rain, and my plants will get rain, like, you know, some water, and I don't have to water my plants and stuff like that. So for me, when the thought came around, oh, this is unconditional love, because I was getting the mosquito bites for my daughter when she was able to do the swimming, right? And I felt so grateful. Sorry, because I'm really like, it just blew my own mind, because sometimes that's the thing. When you keep going in this journey, my friends, it is going to blow your mind with who you are becoming. And you guys know that a lot of it I talked about even in 2024 and 25, and now it is 26. So when I do all of this company, right, Midlife Reinvention, the YouTube videos and the meetup events and the books, it's not just about like, you know, like helping people. Yes, it is about helping people. Also, at the same time, who I'm becoming. And that is when people won't give up, right? Because I have done other startups before, and this is because the ultimate secret is, when you're helping others, you also have to help yourself, because if you don't, at some point you're going to give up, because we are ultimately made of flesh and blood, like I was saying, because sometimes the ego, the critic, will take over, and sometimes, you know, you'll have the soul version of it. But and in the early days, if you have done business, and nobody would fully understand your story, because nobody has lived our own life, right? So there are a lot of challenges to make all of it work. And if you are not feeling your soul doing things that makes you happy, you are going to give up. You are going to give up. So for me, that has been something that in the prior 7 startup over the last 10, 15 years and 21 years of corporate that I was missing. And that is why sometimes people feel surprised that why I am so excited doing this work, because, you know, it helps me too, because it's like, and that is why I encourage all of you guys, whatever you follow, whatever works for you, just stick with it. Just stick with it. because who you become, my friends, will absolutely, absolutely blow your mind. Because it was not only that, there was another quick thing, that our flight from St. Pete's Beach from Florida to here, door to door, would have been 5 hours. Go to the airport, 2 hours flight, come back, come here, whatever. No more than 5 hours maximum. It ended up taking 17 hours, diverting to a direct flight, diverting to Norfolk Airport, and then 10 hours sitting in the flight, literally. And most of it was sitting, what do they say, tarmac or something, like, where the airport, you're just there, the plane is just there in the ground. So it was insane. So, and there were lots of other craziness. Somebody said it was like a one step under the horror movie. That's what we lived for 17 hours. The point is, my mind is not going there. Actually, the amazing part is, through that, the person who sat next to us, my daughter and I, my daughter was on the window seat, I'm in the middle, and this person, she was amazing, so amazing. So that was our silver lining, right? And then we exchanged numbers, and my daughter became friends with her, and I became friends with her. She's a bit older than me, but so my mind thinks of her, because that all of this, and she's a super nice person. It's like, she she found it fun. My daughter is pretty funny, so she was making different comments, and she thought that I was very nice and patient. I was telling her that somehow I was more patient that day than otherwise I am, which my daughter would vouch. But that my daughter actually also managed pretty good those 17 hours. I'm like, oh my God, how did she do that? But it was good. But again, it goes back to that. When we keep practicing these things, when time comes, because you practice it on a normal time, on a good time, so that when time really comes, it's a challenging situation, you remember to practice these things. And I think, and some of it is why my mind is blown, is that at one point, like, I guess, I say these things to you. 3 months you will notice it, 6 months people will start noticing a big difference, and 1 year you'll be a completely different person. And when I'm doing it for 3 years, last year some of it was like intentional, and some of it was like I was being positive, like subconsciously. And in the year 3, I'm like, my subconscious is positive. Like, sometimes it's not that I don't drop, like I talk about this setback to bounce back, like how quickly you can get up there. It's amazing. It is amazing. So I know I deviated from the topic quite a bit, but again, I share this because in some way it all connects, because you are Buddhist, you're Hindu, you are, any other religion, Christian, we are all the same. And if I could do it, you can do it. If you're coming into this channel, you're separated, divorced, going through a challenging time, know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. If you see my videos from 2024, the early days, my friends, there's so many videos I'm crying, and I could not have predicted this life even in my wildest dream. Like, it is not about going to a vacation, having money and all of that, but your inner being, where you feel that connection to God, the universe, the higher power. And some of it is actually lonely or isolated feeling, because sometimes you will get to a point that people don't understand you. They'll think you're crazy, but it will be a good crazy. You know what I mean? It's like I'm telling you, like the 17 hours, my mind is not thinking about that. My mind is thinking about the silver lining, the person we met. And that was possible because of the 17 hours of craziness. Otherwise, it's 2 hours flight. We won't get to know her. She won't get to know us. And we'll actually be meeting for coffee or lunch with her soon at some time. So things like that. And I was telling you guys, the mosquito bites are proof of unconditional love. Not proof, like, you know what I mean? I mean, first when I saw them, I mean, they're still pretty bad. But anyway, that's the thought that came to my mind, and my mind was just blown away. So it creates an excitement in your mind, that if you're thinking now how the year 4, year 5 would look like. So it gives you an excitement for the future, right? Okay, so with that, Corinthians 12:12, we're all in the same family. Okay, take care. Come back next Sunday at 8:10 a.m. Bye.